Okay. Excellent. Hello, people, and welcome to day 157 of class. I really don't know. So I'm really excited about this class because 50% of the time you are going to actually just be working in your teams. That's what I was all supposed to open. The other part of the class, we are going to go through objectives 11 through 19 of this unit of learning, which just covers, which covers more of just like operants, the relationship between just kind of like comparing and contrasting operants and classical conditioning, and then going a little bit into like deeper cognitive learning. And I'm not going to go too much in depth with the concept of cognitive learning, just because when you encounter the concept of cognitive learning again, it's going to be more in depth in kind of like a different way, because cognitive learning is essentially like a structure that is used. It's essentially like qualitative learning. It's not what you can measure through behavior immediately. So it's kind of like foundational developmental learning of sorts. So if you go more into cognitive learning, you're going to learn about cognitive learning theories, which expands like a lot. Like it just goes into like different realms. And so to place so much emphasis on cognitive learning as just like a generalization when it actually has, it's kind of like saying, placing a lot of emphasis on the concept of like what is biology when there are going to be other parts of it that are much more significant than the concept of what it is. So we're not going to spend a lot of time on cognitive learning. We're just pretty much going to look more at the relationships of comparing and contrasting operant and classical conditioning. And then again, you're just going to be working on your group projects. So I want to just go over the objectives for your activity for today so that you remember what you're covering. Because you remember, in your assignment itself, you will be graded on your, I know the rest of the sentence. You will be graded on your ability to achieve all of the objectives, right? That's a part of the outcome. So I want you to be familiar with what those objectives are. Let me share my screen. Where are you? Right here. Okay, so our object, I don't know why this says 1 of 2, because it is 1 of 2 technically. All right, so the outcomes, the learning objectives for this unit: defining learning, looking at the elements of classical conditioning. We talked about conditioned and unconditioned stimulus, conditioned and unconditioned responses, looking at the process of establishing a classically conditioned response, providing examples of classical conditioning in humans, explaining a statement that is classical conditioning is selective and illustrated with an example, contrast, looking at the different.
So I have nothing to do in this class today. I love when teaching.
Huh? That was for me? What happened? Because that sounded like a compliment. I want to hear that.
It is. Sorry, I didn't realize I was unmuted, but I realized that me and my group already did this.
Oh, hold on. Which part have you already done? In the other class?
I think we did all of it. Yeah, that's why I was like.
Well, that's crazy, because here it is. Wait, and when
I don't.
Go on.
Oh, I was waiting on you to reply.
No. I finished the sentence because my thought hinges on the end of that sentence.
Which sentence?
No, you were saying you guys had already.
Oh, you mean the
covered
teacher's
this chapter? Yeah.
Yeah, basically what
No, you're Internet's breaking up.
We were like, you know, outside of class time, and we thought we were like present.
Nope, I lost you again.
Can you
Hello?
hear me now?
I can, like, you start off and then you go into like robot land.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
What Adriel thing was, we misinterpreted this.
Oh, you did the work
We
already?
thought it was like a take-home
Oh, no. Oh, what then?
group assignment.
Yeah, we already
Off
did
class
it.
time. So we were, yeah, so already completed.
Time actually do it when in all reality we're supposed to be doing it today.
Well, now you have time to like look it over and make sure it's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't nothing offensive, I promise, but I didn't realize that we supposed to do it now, and we was like,
Got you. Okay, so let me tell you something. Something I'm never going to do is give you something like this scale of a group project to work on over 2 days. For me, that's just like I don't know your life. Like you may have already had something lined up. So to have expected you to do this as a collective group during that time frame, I know that was a setup for a fail because like class ended 8 o'clock that night. That day was done. That means you would have had to do this yesterday and today. Really unrealistic. So just so you know, I try to be as fair as possible. That's not a lot of time to be able to coordinate multiple people into getting to do things that they're supposed to do. Somebody's going to carry this burden. But a part of the group activities for me is I want you guys to have conversation around it. I want you to learn to work collectively and collaboratively. And I want you to learn from each other. Collaborative learning is a really important part of like my pedagogical philosophy, because for this to have happened, this means like some people were more invested in this process than others. Somebody probably carried the burden or several people carried the burden of this task. And some people just like threw some things in there to get credit. I don't like those kinds of group projects because I am the person who carries the burden. I know what that feels like. So the class assignments are literally designed as in-class assignments because I want you to have a conversation from it. And I want you to actually like learn in real time about it. So this is an opportunity to make sure everybody kind of like checks in, everybody understands what's happening with this assignment, or you just earned yourself about an hour's time to work on something else because you kind of did the pre-work, maybe?
yeah, we did all the pre-work.
Okay, so yeah, I don't want to stress you out. That's never my goal. So you guys, I guess if you're done, like really done, everybody's touched it. Everybody feels really confident that you're going to give me a deliverable that you feel like you're going to get full marks for. By all means, use this time to do something else. I can tell you what that something else can be. So because we're at the end of this chapter, you guys were supposed to, the first week I came on with you because I'm losing track of time. So I think that was last week. The first week I was supposed to meet with you guys, you were supposed to have a quiz. I knew you weren't quiz ready because that quiz is supposed to be on chapters 1, the statistics chapter, and chapter 5. This is the end of chapter 5. So what I would recommend that you do is use this time to kind of like start studying or reviewing whatever information that you have for the previous chapters. So chapter 1, the statistics and measurement unit, and then this chapter 5, because you will have a quiz on Monday. So that's your first test. Yes, Akeem.
Oh, was the quiz that we did for Mr. Turnquest, was that graded as well? Like, does that count for a grade?
I didn't even know there was a quiz.
Really?
When did you, what did Mr. Turnquest tell you why he wasn't teaching anymore?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because I've been trying to reach him and I've gotten most of the materials from Dr. Hall Campbell Dean. So it was a pop quiz. So I don't know, child. That's really the answer. I don't know. I don't have any materials from him. So let's call that. Did you guys do well? Was it posted in Moodle? Did you get your grades?
Well,
Never posted it in
he never posted them, and I only brought it up because I did good. But that's selfish. So,
No.
sorry.
That's I mean, you did good. You did good. Where did he didn't post it, but did he give it to you back? Where did you take the quiz?
So we did it like on his website, and then we sent him our grades from the website, and then he recorded them, but I guess he didn't tell you he recorded them.
Okay, so it was on Quizlet.
I guess we can use that as
quizzes
Yeah.
is one of them. That's
yeah, something like.
But that was the only reason he gave us that was because that day, like no one was speaking. So he just told us, hold on, and then sent us the link and we had to do the quiz and send it to him.
So it was slightly revenge quiz as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess she was used to like for like a bonus.
Right. So does everybody still have that quiz score thing?
Yes, Mom.
Okay, so
Because we
go
sent
ahead.
it to him on WhatsApp, so we could just easily go on WhatsApp and get it.
Oh, y'all really had a WhatsApp group. That's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. So y'all can send it to my email. I have all my groups muted. We're not doing that. I don't want more people in my phone. So feel free to send me the email with your grade. I will be more than happy to figure out how we insert this grade into, because I don't want your grade to be for naught. I mean, unless you didn't do well, and then, so I'll figure out how to incorporate it, because if you did well, I want to honor that. And if you didn't, well, we have makeup activities and we could make that up. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Just email it to me and then we'll go from there. Okay. Minimally, it means we've covered one of your quizzes and all is well with the world. And that makes me happy. Wait, in the chat. I'm coming to you right now. Wait. Oh, so some of you didn't even do the quiz. So, well, then we'll figure that out. Okay. All right, so back to the class activity. Like I said, your quiz next week is going to be, task quiz semantics. It's going to be one of those 10% or 15% worth things that's on your syllabus. It's going to be one of those. So task quiz, same language. I don't want you to be confused about what I mean when I say that. That will be on Monday on chapters 1, statistics and measurement, and chapter 5. So like I mentioned, team Adria, you guys can begin, use this time to study for that. Otherwise, I'm going to put you in your groups right now, and you're going to be working on your team assignment. That team assignment, I'll tell you when it's due after I have successfully put you in your groups. All right, so these are the learning objectives. You're going to make sure you have all of these. I think I got as far as number 5, contrast operant conditioning with classical conditioning. Describe operant behaviors, the law of effect, looking at reinforcement, the role of reinforcers and punishers. They really elaborate things that are just, anyway. Explain the role of shaping and establishing an operantly conditioned response. Like, how does that work? That's what that means. Discuss the types of reinforcers and possible unintentional effects of reinforcement. We talked about that a little bit. Like, what do you do when you make something a central point? And we discussed that a little bit. Explain the circumstances under which punishment can be effective and the drawbacks using punishment. What is meant by learned helplessness? So you're using the intersection of, I've provided the slides, but you all should have textbooks, and I'm operating under the assumption that you have all of the resources for this class. I've provided you with slides. They are on this course landing page. Yes, Alicia?
Miss Bean, sorry, my internet is freaking out majorly this evening, so I may be in and out of class. But I caught piece of where you somebody mentioned the quiz we did with Mr. Turnquest.
Yes.
I sent him my grade on WhatsApp. So if you do decide to take that, I sent him my grade on WhatsApp, but I deleted that chat. So I don't have a screenshot of that anymore.
Well, so there we have it. We will figure this out. That's all I got.
Okay.
We're gonna figure it out. Yeah.
Okay. 'Cause I remember my grade. Like,
Look,
you
I
don't
don't-
know me enough to take my word for it. So
I don't know. What I'll say is I don't know. What do I want to say? I don't want anybody to be penalized for not having it. But I don't know how to give people credit for having it. So I'm just gonna like mentally process the intersection of those two things and figure out how to incorporate it. In any event. So if you don't have it,
I deleted
Don't worry
my photos, my deleted photos. I deleted that because I have too much school things on my phone. So all the unnecessary things I deleted. Since I sent the photo to him,
mhm.
I absolved my responsibility of it. So I deleted it off my phone.
Yeah,
Because
that's why I'm
Vishay,
not
I
throwing
think
in my
that's how you
phone.
pronounce.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want
Right.
I
So
am.
I don't have it.
Okay, that's fair.
Unless you could reach out to him to confirm my grade.
That was my point. That's why I asked you guys, because I have not been able to reach him.
Do you want his number? We
I
have
have-
his cell phone number.
I have his number.
Well, that's beyond me.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. Right. I wasn't sure if he was like just fired on you. I don't know. So I'm not worried about it. If y'all not worried about it, I'm not worried about it. But we'll figure it out together. Okay, so hold on, chat. What's happening here? We can leave the we might be able to leave the quiz grade in the past. All right, so I've explained the outcomes. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that I can put you guys in your groups. So sorry, I need to double my screen again so that I can see who belongs where. So there were 2 ads to this group. There were, I'm trying to remember. I want to say Jamie, but I might be making that up. Jamie, are you one of the people who was added to a group? Nope. You're already here. Who?
This is Rashay.
Right, it was
was
you.
added to group 3.
Group 3. And somebody else. Sorry, I may have to go inside. These mosquitoes are with the disrespect today. Okay, so apparently whoever else is not speaking up. All right, so I'm gonna put you in your breakout groups right now. You have your instructions. You will have an hour to work on this, and that time will begin once you are officially once everybody's in their groups. So it's 6:23. It's probably gonna take me another 2 minutes. So 7:25. Yes, Adria. Is your hand up on purpose?
Oh, sorry, my Wi-Fi is doing its thing. I wanted to know if none of the persons in my group could actually present because Wi-Fi in different areas, could we like send it to your email?
Yeah, this one isn't a presentation. You're just going to send it because we're going to compile all of these resources and I'm going to share them with you to help you study for this class. So these resources I'm just looking at them to give you a grade for having completed them to make sure that they cover all of the bases. But these are resources that are designed for you guys to have. So I'm going to put them in a folder on the landing page so that you have access to them. That's the point of this. So yeah, when you're done, you're just going to send it to me. There's no presentation. Excellent. See, thumbs up. Okay. Breakout room. Sorry, my screen is split. I'm not special. I'm doing like a split screen situation so I can see how many people are here. So I'm assigning.
Can I have another question?
Yes.
If we're already done, then what do we use the hour for?
Somebody answer that question for her. Nope.
So
Nope.
study.
And why are we studying?
You have a quiz on Monday.
And what chapters are covered on the quiz?
One and five.
Ta-da! There you go. Okay. Recreate.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. So if I make these 4 breakout rooms, everybody knows which rooms they're
Sorry,
in.
what chapters are on the quiz?
1, 5, and the unit on statistics and measurement. Hey, what's that on?
Thank you.
No problem. So question, do I need to manually put you in your groups, or if I let you choose your groups, will you go in the right groups?
Let me manually do it.
I got you. Okay, create. Room 1 is assign 1 Alicia, Adria, Regina, Monet, and Destiny. Okay. And then group 2 is Crystal, Tennille, Alicia, Darren, Akeem, Austin, and Rashay. Rashay, why are you in here twice? Which one of these should I be adding? Anyway, that's you. And then group 3 is Shurika, Taranika, Shania, Benicia, Tamar, and Sasha.
Yeah, sorry, I'm there twice because sometimes my laptop freaks out, so I'm on my phone as well.
Did I add you? Did I add the right device to your group?
I don't see where I'm added on any of them. I'm not sure how would I know if I'm added.
Okay, I'm gonna add both of you. It's group 2, and the other Rashay. Okay, boom. And then assign. So this is Zaria, Josh. Where's Joshua? Okay, Jamie, Denisha, Steve, Daria. Is Joshua in this class? Has Joshua been? Joshua's been here, right? Okay, I am opening all rooms.
Room 2 is group 3.
Room 2 should be group 2. Did I put you in the
I'm
wrong?
in room 2. Yeah, I'm supposed to be in group 3.
God, no. Hold on, wait, who is that?
Rashay.
Rashay? Oh, right. And I put both of you in the wrong room. Move to room 3. Move to room 3. There you go. Okay. Go to the rooms. Where are the rooms? We got rooms. I don't even know why I came in this room. Just Send a message if you need anything, but that's it. Sorry. Bye.
Bye.
Hello, people, and welcome back. How did that go? Just a little feet. Ooh, sorry about my lighting. Any specific feedback about in-class group assignments that you would like to give me? No? That went swimmingly? Okay, don't be trying to give me sideways feedback. I asked you a question. Closed mouths don't get fed. Okay, so we have about 20 minutes left in this class. I'm going to jump into the lecture for today. Like I said, it's just a continuation of the conversation around, sorry, I was supposed to share before I switched. Operant versus, classical versus operant conditioning, sharing my screen. Okay, here we are. This,
I have a question.
I'm listening.
Are you posting any of these lectures or anything we do in class on the Moodle page where it's still blank? Or did you get access to it from Mr. Turnquest?
I do have access to it. Does anybody know where you can find the resources for this class?
The drive.
And where can you find that?
In Moodle.
Does that answer your question? In Moodle, there's a link to this course landing page, which has everything that we've done so far and all of the resources. So there's a
An
slide.
announcement?
I'm sorry, yes. So it will take you to this slide. So this is this week. This is last week. And on the shelf, I'll show you this week's shelf. It says week of September 27th, learning objectives that we've already gone over. Your course syllabus is right here. The link to the Zoom class. This is the rubric for your learning activity. This is the slide from the other day, from Monday. This is the recording from that class. They all live on this, in this one slide. You can go there to access all of the materials. All right. Okay. So, like I said, this is part 2 of the same chapter. This is objectives 11 through 19. It's relatively quick. So I went over the objectives. We talked about classical conditioning, and I kind of framed classical conditioning being different from operant conditioning in the sense that classical conditioning is relative to a stimulus. So creating a relationship between response to a very specific stimulus, and that grows based on the relationship with the stimulus. The Pavlovian key example that's often always given is the dog and the food. So in that relationship, there's a dog, there's food. When the dog sees its food, it salivates, and that's an unconditioned response. So the food itself is an unconditioned stimulus. The salivation, or when, like when you're drooling because you see food, that's an unconditioned response. That's just something that a dog does when he sees food. if you then create the conditioned response of you place the food and you ring a bell. So you can ring the bell either before or after you place the food, and you do that in repetition at some sort of interval, and you can decide what those intervals are. Eventually, you can take the food away and you ring the bell and the dog will still salivate. And that's conditioning, all right? Whereas with operant conditioning, it is developing a set of behaviors. So almost modifying what behaviors you have based on a system of reward or punishment. So the wonderful example that was given, there's a really good episode of, what's the nerd show with Penny and Sheldon and
Big Bang Theory?
Big Bang Theory. There's an episode of Big Bang Theory where Sheldon attempts to condition Penny's behavior. So every time she acts politely, he rewards her. So if she asks for something and says, please, he would give her like a piece of candy. Or if she would take liberties in their household. And every time she acted in accordance with just having proper manners, he would reward her. And so he was reshaping her behavior. And that's how operant conditioning kind of works. So if you want your child to put away, like do their chores, if every time they do a chore, they get a reward, it conditions them into the behavior. And the behavior is long-standing. And that's an operant. Anyway, so let's go into the conversation because that deepens here. Sorry, that was the assignment for today. Okay, so delving deeper into those, we're going to look at the concept of like biofeedback and neurofeedback, which is just a way of, so biofeedback looks at like your physiological factors. Neurofeedback obviously talks about like what's happening in the brain. And they use it kind of like as a tool to measure the body's response to behaviors for a form of like psychological behavior modification. And so we'll look at that a little bit, describe the importance of the contingencies in both operant and classical conditioning. Again, for me, my greater priority is for you to be able to articulate these things and not necessarily quantify them in this way that it is articulated in the textbook. It's very textbooky. I want everybody to minimally be able to have language around the process of conditioning. Looking a little bit of like extinction and spontaneous recovery. And all that really means is like, how is it that you can forget the skills or behaviors that you developed after being conditioned? And how is it that all of a sudden it happens all over again? So describe the process of generalization, discrimination in classical and operant conditioning. And that just means like developing what the relationship is between you and the stimulus. Higher order conditioning, we'll talk about that a little bit. I touched on it last class when we were looking at, when I said that there are going to be different variables that impact how conditioning essentially affects an individual. And again, there are, like we said, there's levels to this. I can't remember who it was, but pointed out like the difference between your behavior being able to be modified based on the threat of like physical punishment, whereas like your brother had no association. So it's levels to this. And then we're going to look at cognitive learning just very, very briefly and look at it from like just conceptually what it is. Okay, so biofeedback, as I indicated, biofeedback looks at like it's a process. It actually involves like a machine. There's a tracking device that monitors your physiological response to a situation. So biofeedback is used to measure things like anxiety. They will monitor like your heart rate, your blood pressure, the things that the way that your body may respond to a situation. And I actually have a video for you to kind of like deepen your understanding about that. And then you have neurofeedback. And again, what it does, what they use it is to track how your body responds to a thing, and then create a more complex strategy for modifying those behaviors. And like I said, this is slightly more complicated than just getting you to put your shoes away, getting you to put your clothes away. We're looking at major behavior modification. Things like these treatments are used to address things like addiction, and more psychological or even psychiatric behaviors. All right. Wait, what? Okay. So I'm going to play this video.
Hi, my name is Dr. Megan Markham, and I'm a clinical psychologist. Thank you for joining me on Therapy Cable today. We're going to talk a little bit about neurofeedback. We've had some questions specifically about neurofeedback, what it is, how it's different from regular biofeedback. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So first, I want to introduce biofeedback because neurofeedback is a special type of biofeedback or derived from biofeedback. And biofeedback is a mind-body therapy that uses electrical signals to help a person gain a better awareness about their physiological responses. So that could be sweat, it could be heart rate, it could be blood pressure, any of those. The goal of being able to manipulate those at will. Skin temperature, electrodermal activity are some other examples, and even brain flow. Research has shown that biofeedback is an effective tool at helping a variety of medical and psychological issues, specifically anxiety, trauma work, and headaches, I know for sure. So neurofeedback is a little bit different. Neurofeedback is a similar process whereby individuals learn to regulate their brain waves over time. Neurofeedback is sometimes called EEG biofeedback to show the current abnormal electrical patterns that are going on in the brain. It enables the user to modify these brain waves over time to achieve a more calm or a healing effect. So let's talk more specifically about neurofeedback now for the rest of the time together. So as I said, neurofeedback is sometimes referred to as EEG biofeedback, and it's an intervention to teach self-regulation of brain function. Typically, there are little sensors that are connected all over the person's brain on the scalp to measure activity with measurements displayed using video or sometimes auditory sounds. Neurofeedback is a gradual learning process that occurs over time, and you have to have a specialty trainer. So you can't do it at home by yourself. You have to have a specially trained therapist to do neurofeedback with you. Neurofeedback works by providing information to the person about their brain waves. The person is rewarded then for the brainwave activity that is better or healthier. For example, a person with high anxiety might be exhibiting too many beta wavelengths. Beta wavelengths are pretty rapid. They look like little spikes on a chart. And so if you have a lot of anxiety, you're likely to have a lot of those beta wavelengths. And so the goal of neurofeedback would be to reshape those beta wavelengths to something a little bit more healthy. I'm going to talk more about the specific types of brain waves in a minute, so that should hopefully make a little bit more sense. There are 4 types of brain waves that neurofeedback can help manipulate or reshape. The first are beta. We talked about beta. They're the fastest. They have a low amplitude and they're associated with alertness, arousal, as well as engaged cognitive activity. So if you and I are having a conversation, beta wavelengths would be happening in both of our brains. Alpha is the next. Alpha wavelengths are a bit slower. They have a higher amplitude than beta waves, and they're associated with non-arousal states, mental coordination, learning, and mind-body integration. So some examples of alpha would be meditation, when we're in a meditative state, when we're in quiet reflection, taking a break from work, or taking a walk in nature. Those are all activities that would support alpha wavelengths. Theta waves are the next. Thetas are even slower and have an even higher amplitude than alpha. They are associated with memory, learning, vivid imagery, subconscious information, so dreams, and a heightened awareness of internal signals. These brain waves tend to be generated when an individual is performing a consistent or repetitive task, which when it is possible to mentally disengage. So if you're just kind of taking your shopping cart, going through the shopping aisles and, you know, you're on autopilot, I need this, I need that. Or even if you're just driving, sometimes we drive on autopilot. If it's a route that's very familiar to us, these are some examples of when we'd be using theta wavelengths. The last type of brainwaves that neurofeedback can help reshape are called delta waves. And delta waves are the slowest of the brain waves, and they also have the highest amplitude. They are associated with deep, dreamless sleep, so not while you're dreaming, but when you are not, regeneration and healing. So the best example I can give for this is when you're in a real deep sleep, you're not having any dreams, your body's not moving. That's when your body is in a restorative state, and that's when the delta wavelengths are coming across your brain. Okay, so now that we've gone through the different types of brainwaves, we're going to talk more about how neurofeedback is conducted. A neurofeedback treatment session lasts about 30 to 60 minutes. You can do it once a week, you could do it more often. It's again done by a professional who acts as an active and a supportive guide to the process. Electrodes are applied to the person's scalp, which allow the patient and therapist to see the brainwave activity. The little signals are picked up by the electrodes and they're sent to a computer where they're processed. The brainwave frequencies are turned into a combination of images and sounds, which is feedback, and these are both visible and audible to the person. Eventually, the brainwave activity is shaped or reframed toward a more desirable and regulated performance. So you might be asking, electrodes connected to my scalp, that seems kind of painful. Is it painful? It's actually not. It's a non-invasive process. There's no amount of detectable electric current happening. It's a very small amount and you really can't feel too much. Is it safe? Is another question that you might be wondering. Yes, neurofeedback is completely non-invasive and it's safe in the same way that muscles strengthen after use. If you go to the gym and lift and your biceps get bigger over time, it's kind of the same after doing neurofeedback over time. Your brain waves strengthen. So other people have asked me, how long does it take? Because I've been in therapy for a while and therapy tends to be a longer process sometimes. Is neurofeedback the same? When can I expect results? So effective neurofeedback training typically takes anywhere from 15 to 30 sessions. Results are not achieved by everyone, but the research states approximately 80% of people do achieve some benefit. So that's really very good when we think about, response to medication or response to other forms of psychotherapy. 80% is pretty high. There was a study about neurofeedback and substance use disorders, and 120 patients in a treatment program were studied. 60 of those patients received neurofeedback and 60 received an extra hour of therapy. The participants received between 40 and 50 sessions, and the control group, which is the group that did not receive the neurofeedback, like I said, they got an extra hour of therapy. So they were doing something at the same time. Anyway, the results showed that the people who received neurofeedback remained in treatment significantly longer than the other group. And after treatment, 77% of the neurofeedback group remained abstinent from alcohol and drugs at 12 months. That's a pretty high number. Most people in recovery relapse often within the first year, so a 77% success rate is really high. And then 44% of the control group, or the group that did not have neurofeedback, achieved abstinence at 12 months post-treatment. So a significantly higher number in the neurofeedback group. It also showed that attention was improved for the group that had neurofeedback. So the last thing I want to talk about is, you might be wondering, since we've gone over neurofeedback, am I a good candidate, or who would benefit from this? So I have a couple bullet points on that. If you are seeking an alternative or a complement to your regular traditional psychotherapy, it might be something good for you. If you want to take a more active role in your therapy, it might be good for you. If you feel like you would benefit from a holistic approach, so a mind, body, spiritual, that kind of a holistic approach, then it might be good for you. If you have a hard time tolerating medication, or you get a lot of side effects from medication, it may be something to look into. Clients with substance abuse problems specifically, this is my area of expertise, which is why I mention it. that they are more likely to abuse pharmacological medications. And so this might be a good alternative for them if medications can be sort of a dangerous or slippery slope. Clients who fail to respond to mainstream therapy, so you've tried maybe talk.
Okay, so that's essentially, that's the bulk of, sorry, I'm trying to turn my camera back on. As soon as I can find it. There we go. So yeah, that's essentially the gist of the concept of biofeedback versus neurofeedback. It's just an elaborate therapy device used by professional therapists and psychologists. All right. So for the rest of this chapter, again, we're going to have a quiz on Monday. So be sure to review, again, the shared factors, shared concepts between operant and classical conditioning, looking at things like there's a level of association. There's always a stimulus in the environment. The condition results may or may not last forever, depending on the frequency with which they are renewed. So like you can stop responding to a thing in a certain way. They may go completely extinct. They may reappear at some point. All right, so I need you guys to remember to send your assignments to me. I will accept them at, what is today, Wednesday? I will accept them as late as Friday. I will accept them as late as Friday afternoon. After that, I will not accept your assignments. Are there any questions? Excellent. All right. I will see you guys on Monday.